Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this one, we are going to tackle a really interesting challenge in Java language. Imagine you have a list of random names like this, and we have to sort these. We can simply use Collections.sort with this list as argument, and done. This will sort the elements in alphabetical order. But now comes the actual challenge. What if you are dealing with a list of objects like a list of student records, each with a name and roll number? So how do you sort them by name or roll number? Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to handle sorting complex objects in Java using collections.sort, and we'll break it all down step by step in an easy manner. Suppose this is a student class having fields name and roll number, and we have to sort a list of its object in ascending order of roll number. So, first create some student objects with random names and roll numbers. Add these to the list. We also have to change the type of list. This will be an error at first, since with collections.sort method, you can only sort list of elements which implement comparable interface, which makes sense since the elements could be sorted only when they can be mutually compared, and this is indicated with comparable interface. Look at this error, which also says the same. The reason that you are able to sort list of string, integer, etc. is because these classes implement comparable. Look at the source code of string. Here it is implementing comparable. So let's change our student class to implement comparable interface. As soon as we implement comparable, we need to implement its compareTo method. compareTo method defines the logic or criteria on which the object of the class need to be compared. So in this case, for example, based on name or roll number. compareTo takes one object as argument. It is called for each list element and it compares the argument object with the current instance of the class, which is also referred to as this. When you implement compareTo, you are defining how two instances of a class should be ordered, whether one is less than, equal to, or greater than another. The method returns a negative integer, 0, or a positive integer to signify these relationships. If you see, the argument is of type object, so we need to cast it to student class to access its fields. And if we change this to student, then the compiler will raise an error. So what we can do is to add a generic type after interface name to indicate that the comparable will be of type student. The compiler is now happy. Now let's compare the objects based on roll number. So if this object's roll number is lesser than the argument object's roll number, then return -1. Remember that -1 means that this object will be considered smaller and will be placed before the argument object while sorting. And if both roll numbers are equal, then return 0. Otherwise, return 1, which means that this object is greater than the argument object. Let's run this. This is the object representation and doesn't tell any details about the object. So we need to override toString method in our student class. Let's generate it. Run it again. Look, the objects are sorted in ascending order of roll numbers. In this section, let's break down how the compareTo method actually works when sorting a list of objects, a common point of confusion for many developers. When we call sort, the sorting algorithm compares elements by calling methods like student 0 with roll number 5 is treated as this, and students 1 with roll number 1 is the argument. Since 5 is greater than 1, our compareTo method returns 1, meaning roll number 5 should come after roll number 1. Sometimes the algorithm may reverse the comparison. In this case, roll number 1 becomes this, and roll number 5 is the argument. Our method now returns -1, meaning roll number 1 should come before roll number 5. This process continues for all pairs in the list until the elements are correctly sorted based on our comparison logic. While writing compareTo logic, just remember, if compareTo returns 1, then this is considered greater, so it goes after the argument object. If compareTo returns 0, this and argument object are considered equal and their order relative to each other remains unchanged. If compareTo returns -1, this is considered smaller, so it goes before argument object. If you want to sort the list in descending order, then simply change the values returned from compareTo. Run this. Look, the list is sorted in reverse order of roll numbers. Now try to understand how does the sorting work in this case according to the logic explained. If you face any issues, do post a comment and I'll help you out. Now using compareTo sorts a list of objects, but there are some limitations with it, and that is the reason we use comparator. What are those limitations and what are the benefits of comparator we will see in the next video coming soon. So stay tuned.